Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Which of you has been tagged in that Minnesotan accent romance novel TikTok that's going around everywhere?
A lot of times.
6,000 times.
I'm telling you right now, not a great accent.
No, it's terrible.
No. I've
There's
heard
work to be
I've
done.
heard better. I've heard worse.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
I've also heard better, not gonna lie.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
didn't even say slab on my nab. I mean, fucking missed opportunity right
Like
there.
corn on the cob.
Slab on my nab like corn on the cob. Corn.
Karen, big in Minnesota.
Corn is so big in Minnesota.
Oh my
Who
God.
are we?
Oh, I'm Kenyan.
We said that, didn't we? Oh, no, we didn't.
I'm Kenyan.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda. Slab on my nab.
Slap on my nab. Also, we're staring at each other through this like Skype filter where
I had to hide it. It's too
we're
ridiculous.
very tiny heads in the midst of a lot of balloons.
I took a photo.
It's pretty
It
great.
will be
Like
shared
a
on social
balloon
media.
drop in a ballroom. It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
It makes
I
no
love
sense,
it.
and our heads are so tiny.
Like smaller than some of these balloons. And they've just put Lucy all the way to the left.
I'm really far away from you guys.
I know. Shout.
I feel like it's that one time at the nail salon
Nail salon.
when we were laughing too loudly and they literally separated us.
Yeah. They were
Listen.
like, we're giving you different lunch periods. Okay.
We've really been through it, okay? Fucking amazing. I love it.
Oh my God. Well, before we get to this week's topic, we have a few good old fashioned butt plugs.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Love a good butt plug.
First off, our good friend Tani Plattis, who is also an indie podcaster and a voice actor and an all-around super talented bitch, has let us know about this new audiobook that she did the voice acting for, and it's on Audible, and it is fucking amazing.
Yes.
Everything she does is amazing. Let's be
Everything
honest.
Tani does is amazing. And I just want to share about this audiobook for you guys because I think you're all gonna love it. So, quote, for fans of sharp objects, Big Little Lies, and Mayor of Easttown.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. My three favorite shows.
Comes the award-winning debut novel by Natalie Simons, Lies in Bone.
Yes. Tell me more.
Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Lane DeGregory calls Natalie Simons' debut novel Lies in Bone a gripping tale of outcasts that keeps you guessing and, more importantly, caring how it will unspool.
Ooh.
Voice actor Tani Plattis narrates the newly released audiobook of this heart-stopping work of suspense as a tough-minded young woman named Frank, determined to solve a small town's mystery, both tragic and chilling in its detail.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good. Winner of the Best Book Award and the Royal Dragonfly Literary Award, Lies in Bone is fueled by family secrets involving love, murder, and the truths worth lying for.
Whoa.
In the face of her worst fears, Frank must uncover her family's dark past if she wants to keep her sister Boots from the hands of the state.
Ooh.
Relying on her wits and fortitude to unravel a decades-old unsolved crime, she is led to discover the unimaginable. Lies in Bone is now available on audible.com.
Wow. That
sounds
looks
amazing.
good.
It's pretty great. She sent us a link to listen, and I'm a big audiobooks fan and
Yes.
a big Tani Plattis fan, so it's fucking awesome.
Thank
Go
you for
check it
sharing
out.
that.
Yeah. Another thing that we wanted to address is in a previous episode, quite a while ago, I will say.
I think it was like April 2020.
2020, early pandy.
It was early pandy days, yeah. We had a special guest on, and it was Senator Kyrsten Sinema. And at the time, we thought she was, she was a big fan of the show. Maybe she still is. Thought she was doing a bunch of cool stuff with her wigs and whatever.
Technically
and we had her
a Democrat.
Technically a Democrat.
Bisexual, wore colorful clothing.
Yeah. So we had her on to talk about the pandemic and legislation revolving around that and blah, blah, blah.
How much Rand Paul sucks and the importance of wearing masks.
Yep. Yep. And since then, she has deeply disappointed us and probably the majority of her constituents. So we want to apologize for having a political special guest on. I think we learned our lesson. And we just wanted to come out there and say that we are formally distancing ourselves from her stance because she's done a lot of fucked up shit lately. So, Senator, if you're listening, we are disappointed.
We're disappointed, and we support voting rights. And we think that voting rights are protecting voting rights and expanding voting rights is the only thing that's going to keep our democracy going. And it's really, really under threat right now. And
you're not fucking helping.
You're not helping. And I understand concerns about, what Mitch McConnell and the Republicans will do without the filibuster. But look at all the damage they're doing with the filibuster. And also, look at how easily they overcame filibuster rules and other Senate rules to basically completely change the rules of the Supreme Court and nomination to the Supreme Court. They don't fucking care. No. They are going to find a way to undermine our democracy and hoard power no matter what. And we need to unite to protect voting rights. It is absolutely an existential threat to our country. It is.
And this is not the hill to die on.
No, let it go, girl.
Let it fucking go.
And, if you're accepting money from Republican PACs, like, how do you sleep at night? Anyway, moving on.
So, just to be clear, we hear our listeners who have been, asking us our thoughts and feelings on this. And our thoughts and feelings are of deep disappointment and regret for giving her a platform before we knew the depth of her deception,
before
frankly.
She turned Republican.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we had her on, it was before this stuff was known. And, we said in that interview, we don't agree with you on all of your stances. We're much farther to the left than she is, or was even back then. But being an impediment to democracy is just not a good look. And I understand if you're, you want to find an in-between solution for filibuster reform and reforming the Senate rules, but it doesn't seem like you're genuinely trying.
Trying that hard, yeah.
Yeah.
So long story short, we have learned our lesson and hopefully you will too.
Yeah. And also, I was very obsequious and excited to have a senator on the show. And now I look back on it and it was very cringe. And I personally apologize for that. But I was very excited. My little nerd heart was excited to have a sitting U.S. senator on the show. But turns out it was one of the worst ones.
Never again.
Never again.
Never
Anyway,
again.
Let's get to
So that's that.
Let's get to our topic and our
Speaking
wine
of
segment.
terrible female U.S. senators.
Oh, yeah.
Our topic this week is missing in Maine.
Oh, okay. I was like, is our fan picker a terrible U.S. senator?
No, but the topic
I
is
was
about...
so deeply concerned for a second there. You saw my face in these balloons.
The topic is about the state of Maine, which has a terrible female U.S. senator, Susan Collins, also
That's, yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Man, well, she got there. She's on board. So,
So confused.
It's just face down on a balloon.
No one listening or watching our video episodes will have any clue what we're talking about. Because this balloon thing is.
Of the balloons.
Oh, I definitely have a photo of us in the balloons. But when I tell you the joy it is bringing, at least me and Kenyon, I think Lucy hates it. We love it.
Yeah, it's working for me.
Yeah. Well, whatever makes you guys happy.
So anyway, okay, our topic this week, like I said, is Missing in Maine, and it is brought to you by our very special fan picker, Lilius B.
Ooh.
I hope I said that right. That's a very cool and pretty name.
Be still my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like a wizard from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
You
it's
do.
a Harry Potter name for sure.
I love it.
So Lilius is a Maine native.
Mm-hmm.
Maine is a very cool and wild place.
Got lobster. They got another Portland.
Yep, the other
We'll get
the
to
other
all of it.
Portlands.
The other Portlands.
I have
Rocky beaches.
I have a quick
Craggy
anecdote.
shores,
Craggy shores.
lighthouses.
Crashing waves.
Lobster.
Lobster.
I don't think that's
roiling surf.
That's a throwback. That's from like episode 3. Okay, no, I have a quick anecdote. So in 4th grade, I had this very young and like pretty and cool 4th grade teacher, and I desperately wanted to impress her. And her boyfriend
Miss
drove.
Madsen?
Yeah, Miss Madvig.
Madvig. Oh, she did have a cute boyfriend.
Her cute boyfriend drove a Coca-Cola truck, and it was like
What?
living the dream.
We thought it
Hello.
was the coolest thing. He was just a
That is very
beverage
cool.
distributor, but still, it was like, we thought it was so fucking rad.
She was so rad. She was like the epitome of chic in my 4th grade brain.
She had
Hell
a
yeah.
short haircut.
Yeah.
That she was the first one to teach us about global warming.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I desperately wanted attention from Miss Madvig. And
Yes.
and so we were learning about like state capitals or something, and we learned about Portland, Maine or something, and I learned the name of one other city in Maine. I
Portland
had never
is not the capital.
Well, then what's the capital of Maine?
Augustus.
Okay, so I learned about that.
Augustus Gloop, Maine.
And
Or Augusta, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Probably.
And I had never been to Maine, but I wanted to be special. And so I like tugged on her shirt sleeve and was like, I was born there.
You lying sack of
I
shit.
just wanted to be special and not born in Minnesota like everybody else. I just wanted attention.
Like everyone else in your school class in
my
Minnesota.
public Minnesotan school. Yeah, of course. And she goes, I remember it so well. She just goes, okay.
Yep. All right. I was
And
born
walked
there.
away, and you're just crushed, just totally shattered.
Crushed.
Yeah. And I kept up the charade and kept talking about Maine like literally the rest of the year.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna find her on social media and tell her.
You're squealing like a little pig.
I got no payback for it. She was never interested. I never got caught in the lie.
But she also never gave a shit.
She never
Not a single
gave
shit.
not even a single shit. Why would she?
Okay.
Okay. Kind of like that listener in the coffee shop.
This is like so much trauma for you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
A
so
lot of trauma.
I think about that every single time I think about the state of Maine.
Every single day of your life.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
It's not often that you bring up something I don't already know about you.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave, honey, when first we practice to deceive.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know.
It's
Have
yeah, you
ever
gotta be
even
careful.
Been to Maine?
I did not go to Maine until my 2nd year of grad school. It was the first and only time I've ever been to Maine, and I thought about it the entire
Classic.
time.
I've never
yeah.
been. I want to go.
Yeah.
That's epic.
Wow.
So anyway,
I'm obsessed with that. Thank you.
hashtag Maine facts.
You should have done your hometown case in Maine.
You should have.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
that would have been funny.
So,
That would have been good.
Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for Missing in Maine?
Totally forgot I still had to do this segment. Okay. You just really rattled me with your I was born in Maine lies and deceit.
It'll get you.
Yeah. But tonight we are drinking a little offering from our friends at Winc Wine Club, which if you are not familiar, then welcome to our show, I guess. And they're an online wine club that delivers wine directly to your door.
Or your neighborhood Walgreens.
Or your neighborhood Walgreens. It's like the most convenient service ever.
It's great.
And we love it. And they have a changing array of varietals all the time. You could go ahead and drink without leaving your house, which is like really fun.
Ideal.
And becoming a member of Winc Wine Club gets you access to member pricing. So we highly recommend it. If you head to trywinc.com/gals, GALS, you get $20 off your first order. And with this particular bottle, if you're a member, you get it for $12.99. And its regular price, $14.99. So the savings are quite real.
Yeah.
We are drinking Emu in the Sky Chardonnay. And I know I don't usually pair a Chardonnay, but I've been wanting to try this one.
It's a cool name.
It's a cool name, and it reads as though it's not a conventional, like, Butterbomb Chardonnay. So I'm giving it a try.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see what works
Some
here.
Chardonnays are good, like our gal Chardonnay is
They
very
are.
good.
I think that we just really have to try to veer away from oaked, like heavily oaked Chardonnays, and then we're fine.
Yeah.
But I picked
our history of Chardonnay is the shit that my mom drinks.
yes, the
And
buttery grandma
super
Chardonnay.
buttery. Yeah.
God bless, but it's not our bag, baby.
No.
Don't want to slab on that knob.
Ish.
um,
I'd rather have corn on the cob.
I'd rather have corn on the
It's
cob.
as buttery as corn and the cat.
Oh my God! Now I just
yum.
want corn on the cob. Okay, but I also really liked the story behind the emu in the sky. Now this is like an Australian Aboriginal folktale, and I am aware that there are multiple versions of this. There is a particular version that felt at least loosely connected to this episode and like the idea of someone being missing or seeking someone who is missing. But I just thought the story was cool, and I've been like sitting on this wine, like, when can I incorporate this story? And then Missing in Maine popped up, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it fit.
Okay.
In true Amanda fashion. And for our Aboriginal and Indigenous listeners, just want to give a quick trigger warning that this folktale mentions death. In this version, a blind man lived with his wife in the bush. Because he was unable to hunt, he would tell her every day to go out and collect emu eggs. And she did, but her husband was never satisfied, and he would get angry and tell her the eggs she gathered were too small. While she was out gathering eggs one day, she came across tracks made by a very large emu. Thinking a very large emu might mean very large emu eggs, she followed the tracks to the emu nest. When she arrived, she found the emu and its eggs and began throwing stones at the bird. Unfortunately for her, this only served to anger the emu, and it ran toward her, killing her.
Whoa.
Back in the camp, the blind man became worried about his wife. Hungry and concerned, he felt around the camp searching for food until he found a bush with some berries on it. When he ate the berries, he was able to see. With his newfound vision, he made spears, and I don't know what this is, but I assume a tool or weapon, woomera,
Okay.
before setting off to find his wife. So he's seeking his missing wife. There's the loose link.
Oh my God, Amanda.
I know.
Wow.
I've still done worse. Eventually, I like this story though. It was interesting to me. Eventually, he found her tracks and the emu tracks and followed them. When he came across the body of his wife and the large emu nearby, he speared the bird and banished its spirit to the Milky Way, where it remains.
So it's like a constellation, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh,
But yeah, that's the story of the emu in the sky.
Cool.
Cool.
Emu
Yeah.
in the sky with diamonds.
With diamonds. I
Love
thought it was
that.
super
With
fascinating.
berries.
This is also a very like easy drinking, medium bodied, dry Chardonnay. It's a 13% ABV. It's also vegan. It's low sugar. It's sustainable. It's like all the things you love. She has tasting notes of honey, lemon rind, lychee, and wet stones. You're going to get some of that like minerality on the finish. And it's a cracker.
Cool.
It makes your life super easy unless you just put on lotion, which I'm realizing.
Yeah,
I
me
may
too.
have. It's fine. Okay.
Oops.
I'm also drinking it out of my Plan Ahead Salt You're Dead lowball,
Nice.
which I like to use as a wine glass when I haven't washed my wine glasses. Okay, let's crack this.
Oh, that was a
buttery
long
crack.
Faint crack. Oh, I'm giving her a sniff. She doesn't smell like butter,
Okay.
so we'll see.
All right, take that first sip. Let us know.
There we go. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good. Drinks
That's
a lot like that's good. Drinks a lot like a Sauv Blanc.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
It's got nice acidity. It does not taste like butter. I don't think this is oaked. So
Excellent.
Speaking of language.
Yeah. Oh, it's like slightly oaked. It's fermented in a combination of stainless steel and French oak. So it's not going to give you as much of a hit.
Ba-bam.
Of a ba-bam. A
Got it.
ba-ba-bam.
All right. Well,
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right, Lucy, what is our background and probs not psych for missing in Maine?
Surprise, it's all psych.
You're all crazy.
Damn it.
Okay, so Maine is the fingernail on the middle finger of the United States. It's located in the far northeast corner, bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and New Hampshire on the U.S. side, and Quebec and New Brunswick on the Canadian side. And if I'm being honest, I didn't realize that New Brunswick was a province in Canada.
I cannot ever, my brain just cannot ever keep the map of Canada in my head.
I thought it was just a bowling alley in Edina, Brunswick Lanes.
What the fuck is like way up top?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Greenland?
Ghosts?
I don't know. Ice,
I don't know.
Moose?
And it's not even that complicated
No.
of a map.
We
But
just
it never
refused to
sticks.
look at it, apparently.
We never
I-
fucking learned about it.
I
We
know.
really didn't. We
I
did
know
not
where
learn about
Toronto
Canada.
is and Vancouver, and that's literally it.
I barely know where Vancouver is, and we're going to go there, so I should probably figure that out.
I know where Thunder Bay is because I saw a White
I know where
Stripes
Thunder
concert
Bay
there.
is. I know where Toronto is, because Canyon and I have gotten into some trouble up there. But that's about it.
Yeah, the most I ever learned about Canada, like Canadian geography, was in German class, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, we spent like an entire year on Canada in German class.
I'm
yeah.
here for that.
It was
Our
bizarre. Who knows?
Frau F was fucking insane. Okay. Maine is the only U.S. state that shares a border with only one other U.S. state. Maine is the largest of the 6 New England states, but the 12th smallest state in the U.S., with a total land area of only 30,862 square miles.
Well, it looks bigger than that.
She's a baby. If you see it on the whole, I mean, she's big for New England, obviously,
Right.
which I just said, but comparatively. So she's about 320 miles long and 210 miles wide. So yeah, tiny little gal.
Little peanut.
According to Encyclopedia Britannica, I love her.
Oh.
The Algonquin-speaking peoples inhabiting the region called it the land of the frozen ground. And there are 2 theories of the derivation of the state's English name. So the first is that it was named for the former French province of Maine. Also, that it was so named for being the mainland as opposed to one of its coastal islands.
That makes sense.
Shitload of coastal islands. So I have some fun Maine facts for you.
Okay.
It's believed that the Vikings sailed to what is now Maine over 1,000 years ago.
Take that, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, suck it, you
You big
lying
old jackass.
sack of bones.
Not
Yeah.
that the Vikings are like that much better, but whatever, it's fine.
There were still also people from what is now Europe who were in like Canada before then, I think. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I just made that up.
I have no idea,
I
to be
think-
honest.
I think the Vikings are believed to be the first Europeans to have made it like across the Atlantic after like the, fucking continent split up. I
Well,
think.
good for them.
Yeah.
In 2011, more than 100 million pounds of lobster was caught off the coast of Maine, and Maine provides about 90% of the country's lobster supply.
That's a lot of lobster.
A lot of lobster. And speaking of, the University of Maine has a lobster institute that is dedicated to learning more about the crustacean and like sustainable fishing practices. It's like an educational center about lobsters.
Wow. Love.
Didn't we talk about, did I learn this from you, Lucy? Or I don't know where I learned this recently, but I think somewhere it's now become illegal to cook lobsters like alive, like to slow boil them or whatever.
Because it's inhumane.
Didn't learn it from me, but it's probably for the best. You're supposed to cram a special knife up their spine and twist it.
Right.
And that kills them pretty quickly, but it looks really gruesome because all their legs go, "Whoa."
Ugh. Ugh.
Anyway, trigger warning that for the thing I just said. Okay. Burt's Bees, the popular skincare brand, was founded in Maine by photojournalist Bert Shavitz and Roxanne Quimby in 1984.
Wow. Thank you so much for your pomegranate chapstick.
Oh.
So Bert was a beekeeper. And I don't know if
The
it was
original
his friend
Burt's
or
Bees.
his partner, Roxanne, sort of like started making beeswax lip balm. And then as their company grew, I saw a documentary about these two a really long time ago, but it got really contentious. Like it got real ugly.
It can be hard to start a business with your loved ones.
It
Wouldn't
sure
recommend it.
We're hanging on. by
We're
a
doing
thread.
okay.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
I do have a picture of Bert Shavitz on the drive, which will be on the blog, and he looks exactly like the logo.
Cute.
It's like
they did it right.
It's like the most Maine portrait you could imagine. He's wearing flannel and dirty denim jeans and a belt
Yes.
buckle that is a seashell and like a sideways hat and his big beard.
Oh
and he's
my
just like,
God. He is Maine as a person.
I
Yeah.
know. And he's sitting in front of this tiny little like worn out cabin.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. I love it.
Is
Bobby.
that a light denim baseball cap?
It's like a railroad conductor's
Oh my God,
hat.
it is.
It's like a seersucker.
Oh my God.
I
that
love
is
it so
great
much.
find.
I know.
Fabulous. That
an
is
excellent
That is
photo.
Maine. Put him on the state flag. My mind
Wow.
is blown.
He kind of is on the state flag, and we'll get to it in just a second.
Okay.
So Maine is over 95% white, making it the second whitest state in the United States.
After Iowa?
Vermont.
Aha.
Okay, so here we go with the flag. You know I love the flags. Maine's flag features the North Star at the top with the word dirigo, which means I lead. So if you go to the drive, which will be on the blog, there is a photo of the flag. So if you look at it, we have a farmer and a seaman. And these are meant to represent their traditional reliance on agriculture and on the sea. The farmer has a horrific beard.
Why do state flags just have the worst
Give
clip
no
art?
fucks.
They just like gave up.
Well,
They
like,
give no fucks. State
why
flags
don't
give
you-
no fucks.
like hire an artist and like put this together in the clip art that you have here and then show this to an artist and be like, make this but better.
Nah,
that
that's too
hard.
hard. That's
Look at
too
the-
hard.
Look at the seaman's face, too. Well, first of all, his
Stop
eyes
saying
are
seaman.
horrible.
They're really sad.
Really sad, dark eyes, and then like a beard only on one side of his face.
It's also like he looks like a jaunty sailor man and not like a longshoreman.
He looks like he's looking for a good time because he's got his
He's got a
top.
low-cut top.
He's got his top buttons
They
unbuttoned.
both do, actually.
Ooh, yeah,
little-
he's loose.
His little sailor ties is kind of dangling.
He's ready to go.
Well, my favorite part of the flag is just a cute little moose sleeping under a pine tree in the middle.
Yep.
Oh, Bubby.
Little bubby. Maine's merchant and marine flag, which appeared in 1939, is much better, in my opinion, in its simplicity. So that one says the dirigo at the top, and there's a pine tree and a anchor
Yeah.
It really gets the same point across, people, and it looks a lot more cleaned up.
Yep. It looks
classic.
a lot better.
God.
So I preferred that one
The
personally.
state flag is just
She's a mess.
sad.
I like a good
of a
mess
mess.
of a state flag because it gives us something to talk about. So Maine has a fuckload of nature with over 500,000 acres of state and national parks. Acadia National Park has over 2 million visitors every year, making it one of the most visited U.S. national parks. And I'm pretty sure our friend Ellen got engaged at this state park.
Oh,
That park
cuties.
is on my bucket list. I mean, literally every national park is on my bucket list, but I really want to go there.
Yeah, I do too.
Ugh.
So Maine is known as the Pine State because they have a shitload of pine trees. In fact, 90% of Maine is forested, and they are one of the world's foremost producers of paper and also of toothpicks.
Wow.
I love that toothpicks are still a thing.
They might not still be the top producer of toothpicks because, like, the one factory that made the toothpicks, I think, was, like, sold to a bigger corporation, but still, a shitload of trees.
I wonder if they could make toothpicks out of bamboo.
Probably.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Behind wood and paper manufacturing, fishing, forestry, mining, and agriculture make up the second most important sector, as we can tell from their fucking state flag. To water all of these trees, Maine has 73 rivers that are at least 20 miles long. So they have a lot of rivers considering how small the state is. And actually, its total inland water covers about 2,300 square miles. It's a very wet state. Maine is the only state in the U.S. with a one-syllable name.
Ooh.
Maine's state bird is the chickadee, which is a small member of the tit family, which,
yeah.
same.
You have one small tit and one large tit.
Enormous tip.
Well, I wouldn't say it's enormous, but it's like an average size, and then the other
Enormous.
one's like on the small side.
The other one's trying to keep up.
And trust me, I've tried to gain weight to balance it out, and it didn't work.
Never does.
Maybe
Big one just got bigger.
maybe like if/when you have kids, if you breastfeed like more on the small tit side, that one will grow bigger.
Yeah, maybe
I
you
bet
could
you
balance
even
them out.
I should contact some sort of research council about this.
I think that's a real thing. I saw somebody on TikTok who was like showing the disparity in their tits because their kid prefers
One over
one
the other.
side, like one
Weird.
angle, and like refuses to breastfeed from the other side, and so one of their boobs is like literally 3 times the size of the other one.
Y'all, boobs are crazy.
Yeah. As
Anyway.
I'm looking at us in our Skype room, we're sitting in a ballroom full of
bubbles.
balloons.
Boobs are crazy. We're not crazy. Boobs are crazy.
Boobs are nuts. Highly recommend our boob crimes episode because that was really fun.
That was a good one.
Maine is one of the largest producers of wild blueberries grown in the United States, supplying like 99% of U.S. grown blueberries.
Wow.
to know.
They celebrate National Blueberry Month in July. Its capital is Augusta. There we go. But its most populated city is Portland. The capital used to be Portland, but in 1832, they moved the capital to Augusta. And I'm guessing it's because there was like this push to move state capitals to a more centrally located city. Because I do know that in Iowa City used to be the capital, but that's in like the far east part of the state. So now it's Des Moines, which is like right in the middle.
That does make sense for, lawmakers and folks needing to go to the capital for business.
Yeah. Also, you guys were talking about the 2 Portlands. Portland, Oregon was named after Portland, Maine.
That I knew.
Confusing.
Yeah.
It's because the 2 people who like founded Portland, Oregon, one was from Maine and one was from Massachusetts, and they flipped a coin to see who could name this new city. And the guy
funny.
from Maine won, and he named it Portland.
Okay. Cute. I like it.
Good.
Speaking of Portland, Stephen King was born there in 1947.
Much like me.
You were born in 1947.
In Maine,
In Maine.
specifically.
If you asked Miss Madvig.
Yep. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I had this one student who was like a serial liar. Just chronic lying, compulsive
Kept telling
lying.
me she was born in Maine. It was very creepy.
She insisted she was born in Maine.
She
I had to
was
call her
not.
mom.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a whole
Imagine if that had escalated.
I tried to get her switched
think
to a
it
different
just
class,
did.
but yeah. Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin in Maine. She wasn't born there, and she didn't like live there regularly, I don't think. But the house where she stayed, where she wrote the book, is now a museum.
I feel like Maine would be a good place to like hole up and write a book.
Stephen King, Harriet, yeah. So even though it's actually located in Cape Elizabeth, the Portland High Headlight is one of the most iconic lighthouses in the world. I have a picture of it on the drive, which will be on the blog. But basically, if you picture a fucking lighthouse on a cliff with dashing waves, crashing waves, that's what it
looks like a calendar.
Perfect.
Yeah. This was commissioned by George Washington. Maine has its own desert, which spans 40 acres outside of the town of Freeport. Though its silt hills are now a popular tourist attraction, the desert originally developed as a result of over-farming in the area.
Huh.
You don't say.
So it's like a
desert.
well, I guess deserts are sand. But yeah, okay.
Deserts are sand.
Bathtubs are teeth.
I just meant more like beach sand. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yup. Totally follow it.
Whatever.
Right there with you, pal. Keep up the good work.
It's fine.
All right, my favorite fact, the Maine Coon cat, which is the official state cat of Maine, is the largest domestic cat breed. And with their thick, layered fur coats, they're perfectly adapted for Maine's snowy winters. I don't know why I can't talk today.
So it's literally Maine Coon?
Yeah, the state of Maine. Coon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you think it was Maine without the E, like
Yes.
primary coon cat?
Yes.
They are huge.
They're
big.
enormous.
They're big. They're like dogs.
They're such cool cats. They remind me of, what is it, those like Norwegian snow
Forest
cats or
cats.
forest cats? Yeah, those things are so cool.
You know what? I asked for a cat DNA kit for Christmas so I could test Ray, and I didn't fucking get it. So now I
Treat
have to
yourself.
buy it my goddamn self.
Get it
Yeah, your
for
husband's
yourself
in
for Valentine's Day.
trouble.
I am going to go to CatCon in 2022. It's on
Where is
October
it?
1st and 2nd. It's in Pasadena, I think.
Oh.
I'm fucking going.
Go.
Live your life.
Stephen Ray
Live.
Morris, text me
Mark
if you
my
want to meet up.
words.
Okay, I got 2 more fun facts in this section. Earmuffs were invented in Maine by a 15-year-old boy named Chester Greenwood in 1870 to keep his ears warm when he went ice skating.
Oh, his ears.
Ears. And then LL Bean's flagship store is in Freeport, Maine, and features an iconic 16-foot rubber-bottomed boot.
I've been
And
there.
It
Well,
has
you were born there.
it has an actual this boot has a shoe size of 410.
Oh my God.
Also, people who live in Maine, aka Mainers, just call LL Bean beans.
The store.
I'm going to beans.
Going to Beans.
Going to Beans. You need anything? Mm-hmm. No, they don't sell beans.
Okay, so I have a little bit of Maine slang for you because they have a very bizarre language of their own.
Okay.
So if you say you're going up to camp, that just means you're going somewhere more rustic.
Like
Okay.
Not
north.
necessarily north. Not necessarily. It's just somewhere, your cabin or the lake or the shore or whatever. I'm going up to camp.
Right.
If you say someone is from away, that just means someone who's not a Maine native going back at least 3 generations.
Whoa.
So
like,
she's from away. She doesn't know where Beans is. She's from away.
so like even if they were born in Maine and their parents were born in Maine,
You could still be considered from away.
From away.
Or AKA a flatlander.
Amazing.
Ooh.
I mean xenophobic, but amazing.
Yeah, the exclusivity of Maine.
It's so fucking rural, though. Like,
They're
It
definitely
is-
known for being their own unique culture.
That
Yep.
came up very much in my research.
Yep. Well, on that note, if you ask for directions and somebody says can't get there from here, all that means is that they don't care to give you directions to wherever you're
Oh
asking.
my God.
Can't get there from here.
We need to do
Turn
a
and
Maine
walk
show
away.
and just see how mean everybody is.
Yeah,
I
we
need
should.
to know.
Mean Mainers.
Mean Maine. I'm in. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Let's do it.
Portland.
If you don't know something, you could say hard telling, not knowing.
They're like the East Coast Minnesotans.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
feeling that. I'm
Yep.
feeling
Wow.
that strongly.
Hard telling, not knowing. And then if you're very busy, you can say you're right out straight.
Okay.
I can't, I'm right out straight.
All right.
Or if
You
someone
Could say that.
you could. If you knock on someone's door and they don't answer and you hear them yell, "I'm down cellar." That means they're in the basement.
That I can follow.
"I'm down cellar, come in." Puckahbrush is any type of scratchy scrub brush that might scratch your legs, they might say. Careful, there's puckahbrush up ahead.
Or it could be how somebody tries to say pocketbook when they're drunk.
Puckahbrush.
Yes, the
I
pocket.
can't find my puckahbrush.
Can you grab my pocket brush? It's on the table.
I left my puckahbrush in the
It's down
cab.
cellar. It's down cellar.
You grab my pocket brush? It's down cellar.
Can't get there from here.
Hard selling, not knowing.
I'm telling you.
Hard
just
telling, not
right.
knowing where my
It's
puckahbrush
just
is.
right out straight. It's fine. It's just right out straight. It's gonna be fine.
Also, if you want to
Can't get
agree,
there from here.
if you want to agree or like affirm something, you can say Aya,
Okay.
Ayuh, Aya, Aya.
Why? Why?
Aya.
Why?
I bet it's from
Hard telling,
like,
not knowing.
I bet it's like from Scottish and Irish and whatever
Like I.
immigrants who would say I,
Yeah,
instead of
Aya.
yes.
Yep.
Sure. Okay.
And I made that up. That's speculation. I don't know.
Who knows? It's all speculation. Okay, something a little more pertinent. Even though Maine is relatively small compared to other U.S. states in the U.S., there are an awful lot of places and ways to go missing.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we mentioned the forests and the rivers.
And the ocean.
Yeah,
Oh, there's so
and
much
the
more.
cellars.
The cellars. As of the most recent data in 2022, there are 108 actively missing people in the state of Maine. So by comparison, Minnesota has 179. Rhode Island has 20, which is the least number of missing people. And
But it's also
California,
this big.
The smallest state. Yeah.
right? And
One of them.
California, the largest or the most missing people, has about 2,133 missing people right now. So the average with the currently available data is about 303 missing people in every state.
Wow.
So 108 in Maine, relatively small, but it's also a relatively small state.
Yeah, it's not super populous.
It is the most sparsely populated state east of the Mississippi River. More than 4/5 of its total land area is under forest cover. So again, lots of fucking trees.
That freaks me out.
Yep.
Honestly, that gives me like a panic attack.
So this is going to give you an even worse one.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. One area in the northern part of the state, known as the Northwest Aroostook Unorganized Territory, has an area of 2,668 square miles and a population of 10 individuals. So that's one person for every 267 square miles.
Nope. That's nope. I'm good.
The area is known as the county, even though there are a whopping 16 counties in the state of Maine. If you
my
say
God.
the county, you're referring to that fucking no man's land up there.
I feel like there are like 300 counties in Kentucky. There are like, but how many counties are in Kentucky?
There are 99 in Iowa.
120.
There's a population map on the drive, which will be on the blog, that I encourage you to take a look at. It shows the whole state of Maine. And then, like, the top half of it almost has less than one person per square mile.
Wow.
In
yeah,
terms
this
of
is
population.
weird.
Yeah, it's very, very sparse,
Yeah.
human-wise.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Maine is also fucking cold, particularly in the springtime. It's the second coldest state behind only Alaska. The lowest temperature ever recorded there was 50 below on January 16th, 2009.
Wow.
I'm a
50
Minnesotan and I'd be
below.
like, I'm out.
That's pretty chilly.
Yeah, no fucking thank you.
But honestly, anything like worse than 20 below feels the same.
Yeah, that's fair. But
You
it's
know.
all garbage. It's
Yeah.
all trash.
Right.
50 below is
That's like
really fucking
instantly
intense.
I
deadly.
mean, you can like fucking die.
In like real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
fucking die in 20 below too. It just will take a little bit longer, but there's like a grace period.
Maine is basically just Minnesota.
Yeah, like scary
with
but prettier.
seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Prettier with
lobster
seafood.
soda.
It also has 3,166 coastal islands. Shitload of little islands.
That's wild.
So some of these are barely more than like rocky ledges, but some of them have like whole towns, so they vary in sizes.
Wow.
Because of all of its gorgeous nature and striking coastlines, a lot of people come to Maine to go hiking and kayaking and whatever, lighthouse observing. But we all know how
Leaf
dangerous we all know how dangerous it is to be active. So
Yeah.
like that
Do
alone
not
is
recommend.
dangerous.
Go at your own risk.
Yeah.
The coastline of Maine is a series of peninsulas, narrow estuaries, bays, fjords, and coves, once glacier-covered mountains and valleys now partially submerged in the post-Ice Age rise in sea level. It's also incredibly foggy in certain areas.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
And speaking of Maine being Minnesota, in the north part of Maine, the annual snowfall averages are around 100 inches of snow.
100, like 100.
Yes. Lots of
Okay.
snow. Yeah.
Hate that.
Last but not least, Maine has a lot of dangerous animals and scavengers too, like moose, black bears, which aren't inherently dangerous, but I suppose if you fuck with them and they're hungry, they can be.
Yeah, they'll typically stay out of your way, but
Well, same thing with moose. It's like they're not dangerous until you're too close to one.
Right.
And then they're
Moose are
really
incredibly
fucking dangerous.
yeah, they'll fuck you
If
up.
you see a moose, go the other fucking
Yeah.
way. Like
Yeah.
even if you're in a car,
You're not going to tangle with a moose.
Moose are
Fuck
really,
no.
really, really dangerous. Foxes, mostly because they can carry rabies. Lynx, coyotes, porcupines, ticks, because they carry whatever.
Lyme.
Snapping turtles.
Oh, you'll lose a finger.
Fishers, which are like little weasels, kinda.
Oh,
But they're like minks. They're like kind of nasty.
Ooh.
Bobcats, the brown-tail moth caterpillar, which is poisonous if you
What?
like touch it. It give you like a rash.
A poisonous caterpillar?
Yeah, just don't touch it.
Ugh.
But also like their little spines on their backs, they can like release into the air so you can inhale them and get
What?
like,
So it's not
itchy
just
throat.
don't touch them. It's
Yeah.
also don't breathe near them.
yeah, I guess.
God. No.
They also have a lot of hornets and Sasquatches, allegedly. So
So Maine isn't Minnesota. It's Australia.
It's cold Australia.
if Australia and Minnesota had a baby,
It
it would be Maine.
Okay.
Oh,
Also, I just want to point out that porcupines are way bigger and more intimidating looking in person than
Yeah.
you think they're going to be.
they're big. They can look like a
They are
small
big.
bear.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
they
yeah.
were like
Woof.
the size of like a rugby ball. They're not.
They're bigger than Ray. They're big.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my segment. That's all. Lots of different ways you can die or go missing or get injured in Maine. And that
Great.
I really still want to go to Maine. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah. We'll go. We'll just bring lots of different types of sprays,
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of sprays.
flashlights. I'll have a whole emergency kit.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Maybe going to Maine will make me like lobster.
A
Yeah.
lobster is delicious. I love it.
It's a vehicle for butter. I don't like the texture or the flavor. Well, anyway, still
More
going to
for
Maine.
me.
All right. Well, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get to our cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like a person's shoes say a lot about them, and I don't mean like price, you know? I mean like
Your go-to style.
Yeah, your style. Like, are you like a bold sneaker person, which like I wasn't until Amanda kind of converted me? Or do you
Got you.
love a ballet flat or like boots or, whatever? They're all different types of shoes, and Rothy's kind of has them all. And you don't have to choose between comfort and style with Rothy's because they have both.
We are all obsessed with Rothy's. They have a signature seamless knit design. They break in like immediately.
Like
butter. And seriously, out of the box, when it comes in the mail, you can just throw them on. You could go walk a mile.
Yep.
I've never had shoes like that before.
I've put some serious mileage on my Rothy's flats and sneakers, and normally, like, new shoes absolutely destroy my feet, but they just are so comfortable right away.
They're my go-to travel shoe. Like I have my mocha leopard print
Yup.
in the
Cute.
loafer, and I wear that whenever I'm like on a plane, which isn't that much these days, but still, it's like they're so versatile. They pack so well, and when they get dirty or stinky or whatever, you throw them in the frickin' washing machine.
The best.
They come out
It is-
brand spanking new. It's unbelievable.
Brand new. And also, Rothy's are better for the planet. They've repurposed millions of water bottles into their signature thread that goes into every single one of their products. They are constantly churning out new super adorable patterns, new styles. I know Amanda has like the sneaker.
I have the sneaker, the ankle boot. I have like these cute strappy sandals. I have the Mary Jane. I have the classic rounded flat. I have so many.
The point, I mean, the style, the point is
The point
their
is-
most popular. It is so cute. It's very professional. You can dress it up. You can dress it down. We are not exaggerating here. Rothy's are the way to go.
Truly. So get both style and comfort this spring with Rothy's. Plus, get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/gals. That's ROTHYS.com/gals. And treat your feet.
Treat them.
So the world can feel kind of isolating, kind of lonely sometimes. And in times like these, having someone that you trust and love to talk to is more important than ever. But even the best relationships, like like with your parent or your best friend or your sibling or your spouse, even every now and then those can also hit a few bumps in the road. And like if you're having complications with talking to people you love so much, then like finding an outlet with someone to talk to is even more important. We have all been there.
Third party.
You do.
Somebody
Like
with some distance from the situation.
An unbiased third is the best third you could ask for. So if you're feeling unheard, if you're having the same arguments over and over, or if you're just not like knowing how to move forward, Talkspace is there for you. Talkspace gives you unlimited access to a licensed therapist so you can clear up the confusion and focus on what matters most, which is being the best person, the best partner, the best sibling, the best child that you can be.
I fully believe that my Talkspace therapist is like the third in our relationship.
Yeah, they're doing
a healthy way.
lot
Yeah.
of heavy
Yeah.
lifting.
a lot. Yeah, and it's actually one of the things that's like part of routine maintenance. I think a lot of people get really can have
Complacent.
negative connotations too with like, you know, I'm in a relationship and we talk to a therapist. It's like, it's routine maintenance, baby.
Yeah.
It just keeps you communicating well and allows you to maybe unload some things that you can't necessarily unload on your partner, or maybe best not to unload on your partner. Get you the third. Talkspace is the perfect third. And everyone's struggles and challenges are unique. So, like, talk to somebody who understands that. Whether you've been married for years or you're re-entering the dating scene, which is a hellscape, or you're just trying to get comfortable with being single, like talking to a therapist can really help with any of these things. And Talkspace does offer couples therapy, so you can work on your relationship and do that routine maintenance with your partner at your side. It's amazing. And, you know, it's 2022. The whole just kiss and make up thing is not how we operate anymore.
Don't go
at
to
all.
bed
just not-
angry.
Don't go to bed angry. That's not
Ugh.
a Band-Aid.
That does,
Like,
yeah,
no,
that
it doesn't solve everything.
actually solve anything. Yeah, you need to
No.
actually communicate.
Exactly, and your dedicated Talkspace therapist can help you get to the root of your problems so you can like work through them and not just kiss and make up and then push it down until it explodes. And you have all these options like asynchronous messaging and options for live video sessions. You can talk on a schedule that works for you. There's no need to wait for an appointment. And Talkspace's encryption and added security features keep your conversation fully protected.
So join Talkspace today and start the journey to happier, healthier relationships. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use promo code GALS, GALS, at sign up. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com, promo code GALS, and treat your brain.
Treat it.
So this case is really sad.
Oh,
Anytime,
You don't say.
anytime you have a missing person and it's a missing child, that's
oh God.
really sad.
Yeah, just the worst.
But you can also blame the fan picker for suggesting it.
We
So-
always do.
Lily SB.
Okay, so Ayla Reynolds was born on April 4th, 2010 in Waterville, Maine. Her parents are Trista Reynolds and Justin DiPietro. And I couldn't figure out if they had already split up before she was born or shortly thereafter, but they were not married. And very quickly after she was born, at least, they were no longer together.
Okay.
When Ayla was about a year old, she was removed from her mother's custody by the Maine Department of Human Services, and this was led by an employee named Karen Small. And Small made the decision to remove Ayla from her mother's custody due to Trista's ongoing struggle with heroin addiction. After losing custody, Trista, the mom, checked herself into a 10-day substance abuse treatment program. And it does seem like, from everything I've read, it seems like she successfully completed that program and is clean today. I don't know. That's what I could find out. Family members would later maintain that Human Services employee, Small, didn't do the required home visit with Ayla's father, Justin, though, when she removed custody from Trista, which, like, if the mother has an ongoing heroin addiction, it does make sense to remove a young child from her custody, but then you would have to determine that where you're sending that child to
is
the
also
other
safe.
parent. Right. So it doesn't seem like that home visit was ever done to determine the suitability of Justin's home as the new living environment for Ayla. And then it's really unfortunate, and we will get to it. There were soon signs that it may have been a mistake to grant DiPietro full custody of his infant daughter. Just 1 month after living with her father full-time, 20-month-old Ayla's arm was broken. And Justin claimed that he had been carrying groceries in one arm and his, like, from the car into the house, and his daughter in the other arm, and slipped and fell on top of her, which caused the accident.
Which could be. I mean,
Which
accidents happen.
Accidents happen. Absolutely. Could absolutely be. Also, like, what is it with men having to do it all in one trip? So fucking annoying. Like,
I try to
just-
do it all in one trip.
I mean, yeah, but you're not also holding an infant child.
Right.
No, it would be a different story if you were holding a
Right.
human.
Yeah. And it drives me nuts. Zach will come in with like 16 grocery bags and half of them are ripped and everything's falling out. And he's like, come help me, come help me, come help me. And I'd be like,
Get the door!
yeah. It's like, I'm
That's
moving.
100%
I
me. I'm so impatient. The
I
thought
hate
of going
that.
back
I'm like,
to
just-
the car.
Just
No.
don't stress yourself and do it in two
No.
trips. It's fine.
No. In the amount of time it will take me to convince my brain to make that second trip, everything in my car will be spoiled or frozen. That's it.
To each
That's
their
it.
own.
I'm sending Bill out there before I'm making a second trip.
Well, like if you
Yeah,
live in an
babe, there's more
apartment,
in the car.
if you live in an apartment building and
yeah.
you're on like the 4th fucking floor.
That's true. That's true. There are
Or if it's
obviously
really
different
fucking
contexts
cold.
and circumstances
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. But in our residential circumstance, it makes no fucking sense and it drives me insane that he does that. Okay. So some doubt the accidental nature of this or his story given later events, but his mother, who actually was the homeowner, her name is Phoebe DiPietro, and she claimed that she was in the other room when this occurred, when this like grocery slipping and falling and breaking Ayla's arm thing occurred. And she claims that this, was actually how her granddaughter's arm was broken. So she's backing up her son saying like that is how the arm was broken. But the mom has since said like, I don't think, basically implying that there was abuse. So then about a month after the arm incident on December 17th, 2011, DiPietro contacted the police to report that Ayla had gone missing from her bed overnight. So basically woke up in the morning and called 911. He told the 911 dispatcher, quote, I woke up this morning. My daughter is not here. According to the statement he gave to the responding officers, the last time he had seen Ayla, she had been wearing green polka dot pajamas that said Daddy's Princess on them.
Oh, no.
And she also had a soft cast on her broken arm. DiPietro told investigators that his daughter, quote, must have wandered away from the house on her own.
That's sketchy.
Or been abducted from her bed during the night.
Oddly specific. These are the only two options.
Well, he's claiming that he put her to bed and everything was fine and he woke up and she was gone.
I guess.
Yeah, so in his mind, logically, those would be kind of
right. It's never
options.
good. It's not a good look to theorize if you're at all remotely under suspicion. I know that it's a human instinct.
Right.
And like if I hadn't been listening to true crime, I probably would have, done the same thing. If ever in those shoes, have been like, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But like, don't ever fucking do that. Don't theorize to the cops. It looks sketch. But anyway. Also, she's so young. She's 20 months old.
Yeah, she's a literal baby.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that night, temperatures had been just below freezing and the ground was covered with snow.
Oh my God. Just the worst fucking circumstances for a child to be missing.
Yeah, it's December in Maine.
Yeah.
But at least there might be footprints.
Well,
True.
They didn't find any. They certainly didn't find any like tracks or anything that could have been a baby toddling out in the snow. Or, frankly, any tracks through the snow that could have been an intruder.
Yeah.
Nothing like that was ever seen.
Huh.
On the night of Ayla's disappearance, there were two other people at DiPietro's home, which, again, was owned by his mom, but Phoebe wasn't there that night, I believe. And so the people that were there were his girlfriend, Courtney Roberts, and his sister, Alicia DiPietro.
Okay.
So the three of them were home. A massive search was immediately launched for Ayla. Also, take a look at her. She's so darling.
So cute. Yeah.
It's like painful how darling this child is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's so cute.
She looks like you.
Thank you.
Every little blonde baby looks like Kenyon.
Well,
to be
especially
fair.
that first one. She actually looks like your mom and therefore
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah, her little teeth.
Yeah.
She just has like the cutest little teeth and like a drool bib
Ugh.
in one of the pictures, but it's like cute.
That's
'cause
less
she's
cute,
teething.
but yeah.
I think it's cute.
I'm okay without the drool bib, but yes, the rest is very cute.
I'll allow it.
So this massive search is immediately launched, and it would become the largest and costliest police investigation in Maine history.
Wow.
A group of local Waterville businesses banded together to offer a reward of $30,000 for anyone offering information leading to her discovery. Police tip lines were flooded with quote-unquote leads. Many of these were from self-proclaimed psychics and like various folks that kind of just seemed to want to insert themselves because it was so well publicized, this case. But unfortunately, none of these public tips led to any useful evidence.
Yeah.
Justin DiPietro did not speak publicly about his daughter's disappearance for almost 3 weeks, leading her mom, Trista, and others to believe that he was hiding something, although he did collaborate with his brother and a friend to produce T-shirts, buttons, and flyers with Ayla's image on them to raise awareness of her case in the area. So, like, he did do some things to try to get involved,
Sure.
but the
People
mom...
were skeptical of him from the start.
Yeah.
He's the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
husband did it.
Right. And also, like, they're already separated. It's already, like, an embittered, embattled custody situation. You know, it's
Yeah. It's tumultuous,
Yeah.
to say the least.
A candlelight vigil was held in Waterville to mark 1 month since Ayla's disappearance, and DiPietro was in attendance at that vigil. I believe Trista was also in attendance because she had already successfully completed her rehab stint. However, Justin was the first of Ayla's relatives to leave the vigil, and he refused to speak to the media, which, like, I do kind of
Fair,
understand. Like,
yeah.
imagine he is innocent, which, like, I don't think he is, but, like, imagine if he was...
The frenzy would be a lot.
The frenzy would be
While
a lot.
you're grieving and, well, maybe not necessarily grieving yet, but like under such horrific stress.
Right.
Wondering what has happened to your child. That I get. But it's like this coupled with all the other kind of odd behavior
Right.
is sus.
And we're going to get to more, well, right now we're going to get to more sus evidence that really does point
It's
the
more
finger
substantial
at him.
than-
than just trying to, like, unpack his behavior while he may or may not be grieving, which is always, like, a very difficult and not very fruitful game to play. So in May of 2012, nearly 6 months after Ayla disappeared, Maine State Police held a press conference to announce some new developments in the case, including the discovery of a total of, quote, more than a cup full of Ayla's blood throughout DiPietro's home.
Whoa. Okay, well that's changing things.
Like a metro, like a cup, like a.
Like a cup.
Okay.
Like a measuring cup, one
Like-
standard unit cup.
8 ounces.
Oh my God.
Not all in one spot, and we will get to it, but they, like, added up all the different stains that they were able to find.
Nope. Don't like it.
And remember, she's an infant. It's not like 1 cup of an adult's blood wouldn't
Right.
necessarily be fatal, but, like, a cup of a 20-month-old's blood is a lot of their fucking blood.
And definitely a cup full of a fish's blood.
Oh. They bleed a lot, as we've learned.
They don't.
Which- I don't think people are going to understand because we recorded out of order, and that's next week.
Stay tuned.
Well, it still makes sense.
Fish don't
Fish
bleed
don't
that
have a
much,
lot of
and
blood.
you will learn.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We promise.
So anyway,
So stupid. We're fucking idiots. Okay, continue.
so the discovery of the large blood stains was made with the help of luminol, indicating that there was an attempt to clean and conceal the stains.
Yup.
Oh.
Reports state that Ayla's blood was found on the sofa, her car seat in Justin's vehicle, a pair of the little girl's princess slippers,
My God.
her baby doll toy, Justin's sneakers, and just throughout his basement bedroom, which, like, of course, this guy has a basement bedroom. Like, no shade to other people who have them, but, like, of course, this guy has one. And including his mattress, sheets, and walls.
Now, that is extremely sus.
Yep.
But what makes that even more sus is that, like, kids get hurt.
Right.
And he has not, at least it sounds to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he has not mentioned, like, if they're finding this blood evidence with luminol, then not only has he not been forthcoming about whatever quote-unquote accident may have occurred in his home, but he's also tried to clean it up, which doesn't fucking work.
Right. Yep.
It's not right. Something's off.
Right. So later, and I'm talking years later, he tried to say, I can't remember if I wrote this in the notes or not, so we might get to it, but I'm just going to say it now. He tried to claim that his theory for her blood being everywhere was that she had been sick and throwing up. And sometimes if you throw up a lot, there's like blood in the throw up.
Sure.
But also, like, why
but
is your 20-month-old throwing up that much everywhere?
That much,
like, did you take her to a doctor?
If a child is vomiting blood, you should probably take her to the fucking ER.
The hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think?
If anyone is vomiting blood.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is a scary.
It's not good.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
So, and like, yeah, like kids do get hurt, like the arm thing. Like,
Yep.
We had family friends. They had 3 boys, very rambunctious, and they're like 18-month-old. Like the older boys were like jumping on the bed, and the 18-month-old was like playing on the bed, and the parents were right there taking
Yep.
care of things, whatever. And like, just, blink of an eye, the 18-month-old, like, their legs slipped between the mattress and the bed frame.
It fucking
and then,
happens.
like, snapped, and this baby broke both their legs.
Oh my
It,
God.
it,
was
it
horrible.
happens. Kids
Yeah.
get the weirdest fucking
Yeah.
accidents.
Right.
Yeah.
It happens.
A
But, like,
trampoline.
Yeah.
all this blood and the arm thing, and
It's the secrecy. It's the blatant secrecy. He tried to clean it up.
Mhm.
That's really not okay.
So at the same press conference, the police also said that they believe that the other adults in the home that night, so remember his girlfriend Courtney and his sister Alicia, were withholding information from investigators, according to the police. Police now believed conclusively that the search for the missing Ayla was now a search for her remains.
Oh,
And
God.
they widened their geographic search area to include states New Hampshire and Massachusetts, not just Maine. But the search kept proving fruitless, and there were just like no signs of her. And in June of 2015, the remains of an unidentified toddler were found on the shore of Deer Island, Massachusetts. And this was initially believed that they could have been Ayla's because like the age
It matched.
fit. However, she was soon excluded, and the remains were eventually conclusively determined a couple months later to be those of a different missing toddler, Bella Bond, who I believe we've covered.
We've covered her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that the baby in the garbage bag?
I don't remember, but I think that was in our forensic. What is it? The plants
Yeah.
episode.
That was a garbage bag. Ugh. That one gave me nightmares.
Yeah, it's a very obvious. I mean, anytime you have a child, it's just so fucking sad.
Yeah.
So on May 17th, 2017, Ayla was declared officially deceased by the state of Maine. And this bureaucratic process enabled Trista, her mom, in December of 2018 to file a wrongful death lawsuit against her ex,
Her ex.
DiPietro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So her suit claimed that he had caused Ayla's death through, quote, intentional wrongful actions and had subjected her daughter to, quote, pre-death pain, fright, terror, and physical injuries. The suit, quote, demanded judgment and damages against Justin DiPietro and stated that Trista had suffered damages as a result of Ayla's wrongful death, including but not limited to professional fees and expenses that were required to petition the probate court for the presumption of death order. So she had to do like a lot of legal wrangling, emotional distress, loss of comfort, society and companionship, and other pecuniary injuries. And you might think like, why is civil lawsuit? Why would she care about money if her child died? But actually, the main purpose of her filing this lawsuit was like, they didn't have enough to criminally charge him, which is not in her hands, So the only thing she could do was this civil lawsuit.
It's a punitive move on her part.
Right.
Well, it was punitive, but it was more about an attempt to track him down and force him to answer questions about Ayla's disappearance.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Because he had disappeared from Waterville and actually from Maine, it turns out. He just pieced out and didn't tell her at all where he was going. And I guess, whatever. He disappeared and she didn't know where he was. And she wanted him to fucking have to answer some questions under oath.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
So she addressed DiPietro in an interview with local news media after filing the civil suit, stating, quote, wherever you are, one day you will have to face me and tell me the truth of what really happened to Ayla.
Oh my God. Heartbreaking.
Ayla.
It's so
I know.
fucking heartbreaking.
So lawyers eventually did find him. They tracked him down. He was living in California in 2019, so he got as far away as he could, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they served him with the lawsuit papers, and then he like immediately bounced from California and moved somewhere in the Midwest, but they tracked him down again. And
Yeah, like why are you running?
Where are you going, buddy?
If you don't have anything to hide, where are you going, pal?
yeah. And so he legally was required to return to Maine to be deposed, and he did. So the lawsuit included a report by a forensic expert on the likely cause of Ayla's death. When asked by the media if he had reviewed this report, Justin's lawyer, Michael J. Waxman, stated glibly, quote, "I think it will provide comic enjoyment."
Wait, what?
He goes on to say, "There's no evidence which I've seen that supports any claim that my client had anything to do with her disappearance."
Ha
So
ha
he
ha
bas-
ha.
Ha ha ha!
Yeah, how fucking funny.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
What a psychotic statement. Like, I get that your job is to
Defend this
your
person.
client, and that also includes like the court of public opinion. Okay, but you don't have to be a fucking asshole.
Right.
There's a missing and presumed dead child involved here.
Right.
Like, fuck off.
Yep. Isn't that so gross?
so
Comic
gross.
enjoyment.
So gross. That's so gross.
If you are enjoying any part of this or think that it's comical,
Then you're sick.
then you're fucked up.
You're sick.
So, when interviewed this past year, which is near the 10-year anniversary of Ayla's disappearance, Trista stated that recent progress in the lawsuit, which had been delayed by COVID, so like the lawsuit hasn't been finished yet,
Oh, wow.
that this was finally giving her renewed hope, and that that she might someday receive some answers about what happened to her daughter. In addition to DiPietro himself, the other adults present in the house that night, Courtney and Alicia, as well as his mother, Phoebe, who owned the house and had like seen her son caring for her granddaughter before that night, were also deposed as part of the lawsuit. When finally confronted with the forensic expert's report, DiPietro's lawyer claimed that the DNA found in the DiPietro house had been from when Ayla had been sick not long before her disappearance. So this is what I had already said, but I'll just repeat the quote. Quote, "Apparently it's not uncommon that if a child or a person is vomiting repeatedly for some blood to be in the vomit, that's the only explanation I'm aware of," end quote. So
Okay.
the lawyer is just saying that, and like, that's insane.
As someone who has, over the course of my life, thank you, diabetes, vomited violently and profusely for like literally days,
Yeah.
I'm still not puking a cup
Yeah.
of blood that's getting, and I'm not a child, so like blood vomit getting everywhere in a,
I
in
don't
a
think
literal
I've
child.
ever
Okay.
puked
I
blood.
don't think I have either.
I have not puked like blood. I've puked like so violently that you could tell that there was like a little tear maybe in like my esophagus and there's like a little hint of blood, but not like a cup of blood.
Yeah, and if that happened, you should immediately go to the doctor
That
or
literally
take that child to the
happened-
doctor
That
and
literally
and
happened to
document it.
Bill, and he had fucking blood clots like making their way into his chest.
Oh, that's
why
right.
after his sledding injury.
Oh yeah, he like almost died.
Yeah.
He literally almost died from like pulmonary embolism because he was vomiting blood and was like, I should go to the hospital. Like, I don't care if you ate beets and forgot, or if you like got real hammered and you threw up so much that you think you tore something. If you're puking or shitting blood, just take the embarrassing trip to the ER or the urgent care.
Because it
and
could be
let them
something
tell-
so much
It could
worse.
be something really serious.
Yeah,
Really
you're not a
fucking
doctor.
serious.
You don't know.
If he had waited a day or two to go to the hospital, he'd
Yeah,
be
he'd
dead.
be dead.
Literally dead. It
Yeah,
would've-
blood clots do not fuck around.
Nope, they would have gone to his heart. I think they'd already made it almost to his lungs. That's like why he was puking blood.
Yeah.
Like big clots. It was bad. I wasn't with him at this time, but
Also,
yeah.
I don't think it's not like his mom, Phoebe, said anything about her granddaughter puking all the time and puking up
Right.
blood.
And
Like it's not. It's just not true. It's just
Yeah.
not true.
and it's just so suspicious that it's like, oh yeah, after the fact, it's like, oh yeah, well she was sick.
Yeah, it's like, okay, did you go to the doctor?
Yeah, if I were really trying to like figure out what happened with my kid and was, I don't know, and truly innocent, like,
If you're truly innocent, wouldn't there be, I mean, it's a toddler. Like, they bump their heads. They get nosebleeds. Like, I just feel like there are actual sane, plausible,
reasonable explanations for
and
this.
the fact that that's not what you're citing makes it more suspicious.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So, in addition to the civil lawsuit, Maine State Police say that the investigation into Ayla's death is still ongoing. The case is classified as unsolved rather than cold. I don't think they ever want to say that it's cold because, one, there's like such a clear lead suspect.
Right.
And, you know, it's the most well-known case in the state right now, and it's this missing child, so I don't think they want to say it's cold. The lead detective on the case has stated in regards to the civil suit, quote, "We'll sit back and watch that process unfold, and if there's any information that helps us further the case, we will get that information, sift through it, and see how it fits into the unsolved case. The missing person investigation is still continuing." He has also stated that, quote, "Every day that goes by, we get a little bit closer to maybe another piece of technology that is created that may help with the evidence."
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. And it's tough because when it's a child living in the home of the main suspect, like, you can't be like, well, there are fingerprints.
Right. Like everything could be evidence.
Right. Trista Reynolds, the mom, is now 34 years old and living in South Portland, Maine, with her two sons, who are Ayla's younger brothers, with a different father, 11-year-old Raymond and 9-year-old Anthony. And Ayla would have turned 12 this year.
Oh my God. I hate it. I hate it so much.
So Trista honors her daughter's memory by shining a pink light, which was Ayla's favorite color, on her porch every night of the year and 24 hours a day throughout the month of December.
That's like Jacob Wetterling.
Yeah, exactly. She stated in an interview that, quote, "I have always said I just want to light up the world pink for her."
Aww.
Oh, my heart.
Leading up to the 10-year anniversary of Ayla's disappearance, her neighbors came together and started a social media campaign to encourage others to shine pink lights from their houses for the month of December. And the owner of a local hardware store ordered pink light bulbs for those wishing to participate to, like, give them out for free.
Cute.
That's so cute. Are you crying?
Yeah.
Oh.
And has stated that she now plans to do the same every December. So, like, now the whole town is going to have pink lights.
Oh.
I have a pink light. Well, it's kind of red.
Thanks, Lucy. Your contributions are so heartfelt, as always.
Well, it's a coincidence.
Well.
As of the most recent reporting, the civil suit against Justin DiPietro is still ongoing, and Maine police are still seeking tips from anyone who may have information about Ayla's disappearance. Mm-hmm. And, like, Courtney and Alicia, who are you protecting? Like, you don't need to protect this man. Like, if you know
Seriously.
anything, please fucking say so.
Snitch.
I
Always
can't imagine.
snitch.
I cannot imagine having a missing child, like my own child is missing. I can't.
I don't think anyone can until suddenly it's fucking
your reality.
thrust upon them. Like, it's the worst fucking possible thing.
Yeah.
That would be the worst scenario.
Yeah.
The worst.
So if you have any information about what happened to Ayla, please contact the Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit at 207-624-7143.
Yeah. Well, I have a phone number in mind, too, so we should make sure to post those to the blog
Yeah.
so that they're out there.
All right. And so that is
Wow.
my case.
Sweet
Wow.
Ayla.
Horrible. Fucking horrible.
Poor Ayla.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break to pull ourselves together before Amanda's horrible case, too.
I mean, at least mine's not a child. But
All right. I'll
it's not
take it.
great.
I'll take it.
It's not great. Yeah, it's an upgrade, but it's not great.
All right. We'll be right back.
Sometimes doing less can lead to so much more.
I love doing less.
Me too. Our to-do
good at
lists
it.
are always endless, so let's do less. Dipsy Stories believes in less analyzing and more feeling your feelings. Less stressing and more easing into things. Less scrolling and more savoring the moment. Less pressure and more pleasure.
Oh. So Dipsy Stories is an app full of sexy audio stories And they now have even brand new written stories you can read your
I love
erotica.
the written stories.
So no matter what you're into or what turns you on, Dipsy helps bring the stories to life anytime, anywhere. You can just close your eyes and let yourself get lost in a world where only good things happen and pleasure is your only priority. So it helps you explore your fantasies in a safe and shame-free way, which was my favorite part of it. It's like, I feel like there is a lot of stuff out there that is maybe you feel like you're supposed to think it's sexy, but you might not be. Or like if you are, then you have like guilt and shame around it. And it just doesn't, it's just not pure fun and pleasure anymore. There's just a lot of
shame is a blockage, and it's not a fun one.
It's a block. But not with Dipsy, because there are hundreds of stories to choose from, and they release new content every week, so there's always more to explore. You're not going to get bored. It doesn't get stale. And they also have wellness sessions to help you wind down and explore, and also sleep sessions to help you drift off. So they've really thought of everything, and like the number one sexy organ is your brain. So if you can find these stories, whether they are audio or written stories that are going to genuinely turn you on without the shame attached, like that is the way to go.
Yeah, go nuts, baby.
Go
Titillate.
that direction. Also, anything that helps me sleep, I'm on board for. So for listeners of this show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/gals. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/gals. One more time, that's dipsystories.com/gals, and treat your relaxation.
Ooh, treat it.
It's kind of funny. There are all these like gimmicks that promise a great night's sleep, and I, for one, need a great night's sleep to just like exist the next day.
To function. It's key.
And I don't really care what kind of like toppers, like a foam like a memory topper there are, or like how heavy a weighted blanket might be, because honestly, at the end of the day, it's lipstick on a pig. If you're sleeping on a terrible mattress, your sleep is gonna be terrible. It's very straightforward, very simple, and that is why we highly recommend sleeping on a purple mattress.
Absolutely. And that is because only purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid, which is a super stretchy, ultra squishy material that adapts and flexes around pressure points, and yet also doesn't retain heat.
Oh, that's key.
The cooling aspect of this is a game changer.
It's key. And the Gel Flex Grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips. No matter how you sleep, I'm a flopper. I have chronic back pain, and I flail in my sleep.
Chronic flop.
We have joked about this since we were children. Kenyon is a horrible person to sleep with. She's not comfortable.
I'm an active sleeper. But every position is comfortable on a purple mattress. It's amazing. And unlike memory foam, which like remembers things,
it remembers too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
I hate with memory foam how you like get up from it and then you can like see your shape.
Yeah, can't. Cannot.
Not into that. But anyway, unlike memory foam, thanks to the Gel Flex Grid, purple mattresses bounce back as you move and shift, like instantaneously. It's incredible. So you never feel like stuck or sunken in like you do with memory foam. It's amazing. I'm obsessed with purple. I first got just the standard purple mattress, loved it, was obsessed with it. Then we needed to get a second mattress for another room in our house, and we were like, we're just going to go whole hog. And I got the purple hybrid Premier 4, which is like their
Love
That's what
the
I have.
hybrid. Yes.
It's like their top of the line model. I am even more obsessed. We also have multiple purple pillows. We are a purple mattress family. Okay. So try your purple mattress risk-free with free shipping and returns. And also financing is available too.
Oh, I love a good financing. Getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Get a purple mattress. Go to purple.com/gals10 and use code GALS10 for a limited time. You can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/gals10, code GALS10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. One more time, purple.com/gals10, promo code GALS10, terms apply, and treat your sleep.
Trina.
Ooh, okay. Are you ready for my case?
Well, I
Everyone
hope.
dabbed their eyes, taking their meds.
Oh my God. Oh, I have to call my doctor, speaking of meds.
Yeah, call her tomorrow.
Double it.
Double it.
Double it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to order a double this month.
Make it a double.
Make it a double. That's so loft.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah. My doctor started me on 25 milligrams, and within 3 weeks, I was like, I'm going up to 50.
Yeah. 25 is nothing.
Yeah, I was like, that was cute. I appreciate you being,
Conservative.
cautious, but it's like in a text, I'm like, I'm not making an appointment. I'm not cutting these pills in half anymore. I'm going all in. I'm going hog wild. She's like, okay, that's fine. Anyway, hashtag doc convos.
Hashtag medical advice.
Medical advice. Take it here. So this case is definitely a weird one. So hold on to your butts and get ready to talk about your theories.
Okay.
Jeremy Theodore Alex was born on April 8th, 1976. His parents, Ted and Paula, were divorced. After he was born, he had one sibling. And he grew up with his mother and sister in Belfast, Maine, where he attended Belfast Area High School and played Little League Baseball.
Oh, how picturesque.
Such a sweetie. After graduating high school, Jeremy followed an unconventional path, and instead of going to college, he joined up with Greenpeace in California and traveled around the United States working with the organization and literally following the Grateful Dead and selling grilled cheese sandwiches out of his van to pay for gas.
Oh my God.
He's amazing.
What a picture of the time.
Love that.
I'm just he was every guy we would have had a crush on as teenagers, a guitar player, a skateboarder, but also sweet and sensitive and loved gardening.
Sells grilled cheese.
And sells
I
grilled
have a
cheese.
crush on him right now.
Yeah,
We
he's
must find him.
He's basically bliss bleed love.
I was just going to say.
Bliss,
Bliss,
bleed,
bleed
love.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just a little peanut. So he worked with Greenpeace for a few years and returned to Maine working as a landscape gardener in Lincolnville. He had a girlfriend named Suzanne, and the two of them were making plans to move to Northport, Maine, where they had secured a lease on a little home to rent together. And Northport is an ocean town, it's right on the water.
How picturesque.
I know, right? So much promise. But just after Jeremy's 28th birthday, his parents made the drive from where they lived in New Hampshire to come celebrate with a belated birthday dinner on April 23rd, 2004. This was also as they were working on moving to their new house together. So the parents came in for dinner, drove home either that same night or very early the next morning. And the next day, Jeremy, the day after the birthday dinner, Jeremy went to his girlfriend's house around 11 a.m. to help move some items and boxes from her apartment to their new house in Northport using his van.
Okay. Quirky
He
in
was-
the van.
Yeah, I know. Well, he sold grilled cheese out of it. He was not himself at all when he arrived at her house. And she recalled him insisting that people were after him and wanted to hurt him and kept calling them the bad men or the bad guys.
Oh my God.
She tried to calm him down, but he grabbed some items and took off in a fit of anxiety. He made his way toward their home in Northport, but veered off course and ended up in the yard of a former high school teacher about a mile from the new house.
Like he drove off the accidentally.
No, like veered off of his course to the house that he's supposed to be going. It went to a different place. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He ditched his car and ran into the woods behind this former teacher's home. And it's not even clear if he knew this was her house.
That might have been a coincidence.
Could have been a total coincidence.
It's not like I know where any of my teachers live.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
The teacher and their spouse spotted him and came out to talk to him. Jeremy had money in his hand and told them the bad guys were after him and like begged for their help and was like, I'll pay you to like help me. And the teacher is like, I recognize you and none of this is making sense. And she's like, we got to call the police. And her husband is actually trying to like restrain him because they were so concerned about him.
Yeah, they didn't want him to run off into the woods
and hurt himself.
Clearly having an episode.
Yeah.
Shit.
But he's 28. He's strong. He broke out of whatever like hug or hold the husband was trying to do, and he ran off into the woods before the police could even like be called. So like they called the police, but he was already gone.
Wow.
So him running into the woods is the last time Jeremy Alex was seen.
Oh my God.
In 2004.
Whoa.
The day after he ran off, so April 25th, he ran off on the 24th. This is the day after on the 25th, 2004. His van was found in the parking lot of a local humane society in Northport. Now, what isn't super clear to me is if police found his van or community members who were looking for him found his van and then called the police.
I thought he ditched his van in the yard of the teacher.
I thought he did too, and that's also not clear to me either. Like maybe he went back to his van and drove somewhere else and left it and then left, or maybe he ditched it in this parking lot really nearby and wandered off and was like making his way toward the woods, and then that's when he stumbled upon his randomly his teacher's house.
Or he had two vehicles maybe?
No, he just had it was just his van.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't have a separate vehicle. This was his van that was found.
It's possible he emerged from the woods and was not seen and
got
in the van
moved his car. Okay. Or this parking lot's not far from this house. So I also could see that he ditched his car in the parking lot, and then he made his way toward the woods, and that's how he ended up in this yard. I think that's more likely than him coming back out of the woods and moving his car, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So his van was found in the parking lot of a local humane society in Northport. His cell phone and keys were left in the van, which is not good. Mm-mm. The police used Jeremy's cell phone to contact his parents. There was like an entry for dad in his cell phone. The parents hadn't heard from him since their dinner a few days prior, but like he's a 28-year-old man. He's moving, so they're not thinking anything of it. It's been 2 days since they heard from their son. So understandably, they are shocked when it isn't Jeremy on the phone, but it's the police. And they drove back immediately to be with Suzanne, the girlfriend, to help in the investigation. I can't even, fucking getting a phone call like that would be a goddamn
So Suzanne had seen him earlier that day.
Yep. The morning
the day
that he was acting weird, he left with some of their stuff.
Right.
I mean, presumably to go to the new house.
And then the next day,
it's like, just kidding, we found his van. Yep. And
so she didn't have enough time to report him missing.
I'm sure she was like, what the fuck is going on? He's not acting right. And we'll kind of get to it.
Right.
But I think I understand why she didn't call the police right away. But I don't suspect Suzanne in any way. I think that she knew.
Either. It was just...
I think she's experienced this behavior from Jeremy before. And when we kind of get to what might be triggering that behavior, I think she was just trying to let things play out.
Yeah.
And never expected that things would go in this direction.
And also they're spanning residences, so if he's not spending the night with
maybe
her,
he stayed at the house.
Right.
Maybe he went back to his apartment to cool off.
Right.
I mean, I'd probably be texting Bill furiously and his friends to try and figure out where the fuck he was if he was gone for just a day after some really weird behavior. But I don't even know if in the first 12 to 24 hours, I would immediately call the police.
This
you know what I mean?
Also the 70s too,
right. This
was 2004.
he was born in the 70s. This is 2004.
Oh, okay.
He has a cell phone. He was 28 when this happened.
Oh, okay.
He just had kind of a 70s vibe.
Yes.
That's why you thought that.
I would,
'cause he had the van
I
and
heard
the Grateful Dead.
1970 whatever, and yeah.
1976 is when he was born.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, in an effort to protect herself and also Jeremy, like, he had been living and adhering to like a pretty straight edge lifestyle, but he had also dabbled in drugs throughout a lot of his life. I mean, he literally followed the Grateful Dead around. So like, what do you expect? But it was to a point where it's pretty clear that he had a substance use problem.
But he was like,
But he had been sober for a while, but he was using again. So he and Suzanne knew this. He'd recently been using drugs, and they were hard drugs like cocaine and heroin.
okay, so he'd been straight edge and sober. He
Yep.
had used, he had gone sober, and then now he had started reusing. Okay.
Correct. And Suzanne, again, she's aware of this. I don't know how much she's involved in it, but in an effort to protect them both, she flushed the stash in their home down the toilet before the police arrived at her apartment so that she wouldn't get like taken up on drug charges, or that he wouldn't for possession when he was found, which like I'd probably do the same
thing too.
Yeah, she's in her 20s, but it does, looking back on it, it's like, well,
I mean,
if only
it
they could have
doesn't-
tested what he had taken.
Right. That detail, yes. But it didn't really like fuck with the investigation really. And it didn't blow up on her. That's just a detail that was included. But she did tell his parents and investigators that Jeremy had been using and that it was like not just possible, but likely this was contributing to some erratic behavior and like paranoia. And she'd seen some of this behavior from him before and could typically like calm him down. And she was like, but it did not work this time. And he took off and I haven't heard from him in 24 hours. So thinking that he may have induced some sort of psychosis or maybe overdose somewhere, the police combed the dense forests in the area that he took off in, looking for any signs of Jeremy or, you know, tragically his remains. But nothing was found. Like not a footprint, not a scrap of clothing, not a torn, not like a piece of trash.
Not a sneaker. Yeah.
Nothing. Not a fucking crumb.
That is wild. So
And-
he didn't have like a history as far as we know of like schizophrenia or like mental health stuff. It was just the substance use.
As far as we know, no, but he's also 28.
Right.
And so he's very much in that age range where
In that demographic.
right, where schizophrenia can start to truly present. And if he's also using, it can exacerbate those symptoms.
Right.
So I certainly wonder, because the whole idea of like the bad men are coming for me is like a very common
Yeah.
delusion.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought process went there as well. I don't know though. There's no like on paper definitive
There's no
diagnosis.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So the case basically goes cold at this point. They're like, we have fucking nothing. And this is from the Charlie Project, which is one of our favorite organizations devoted to finding missing persons. Quote, in September 2004, a contractor in Jackson, Maine, about 45 minutes away from Northport, reported seeing a man who matched Jeremy Alex's description. He says he was working on a house with this man who had a sweater tied around his waist, or when this man who had a sweater tied around his waist came out of the woods. The man was acting strangely, would not speak, and did not seem to understand anything spoken to him. He was like catatonic. The contractor offered him food, but the man refused. Another person living nearby says he also saw this unidentified man and that he also believes he was Jeremy Alex. The second witness says the man came to his garage but would not answer questions and eventually walked away after being told to leave. These sightings have not been confirmed but are considered credible. And this would have been, let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September. 5 months after he'd taken off into the woods.
Wow.
And
God.
like, he'd lived on the road for a long time. He kind of knew how to like, he had like environmental skills. It's not implausible. Yeah. Like not even impossible. It's not even implausible to think that he could survive.
Yeah, they
warmer
were
months.
warm months.
Yep. He's not going to die from exposure necessarily between April and September.
Whoa.
So he could have been just kind of surviving. Maybe that he was sighted because he might have been scavenging,
Wow.
you know? So like, He could have just been wandering around.
If a
possible.
if a
All
person
that
has
time.
like a psychotic break, do they kind of come out of it after a certain period of time? Some
really
sort
don't
of
know.
clarity?
I don't know.
And I'm sure it's just different for everybody. I don't know.
4 or
Depends
5
on the
months,
break.
so yeah.
What's the main phrase? No hard knowing or whatever?
Hard knowing, not
Hard,
telling.
Hard.
Let me look. I already forgot it.
But also, like, even if he kind of came out of, so to speak,
Yeah.
a psychotic break,
hard telling, not knowing.
hard telling, not knowing, he's also, I mean, the isolation and the effect on your mental health that just like wandering through the woods
Well, it
alone
explains not
for
being
months.
able to speak if he
Right.
hasn't spoken to another human in months
Right.
and
I
has
think
been
it's-
totally isolated. Then not being able to interact like that does make a little bit of sense.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. It's very eerie.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that like we could be pretty confident that it's him, but there's like nothing on camera,
right.
no photo. We don't
know for sure. It could be somebody totally else.
we don't.
Could be a
Yeah,
Sasquatch.
we don't definitively know that it was Jeremy, which is really fucking upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
So despite some leads, still nothing could point investigators directly to Jeremy. 4 years passed without any movement on this case when suddenly in April of 2008, Jeremy's driver's license was discovered to be in the possession of a married couple who had built a home in Northport, the exact town in Maine that Jeremy and Suzanne were moving to.
What? Why?
This part's really fucking, well, I'll tell you, it's fucking weird.
Tell us.
I'm telling you right now. They started construction of the home in May of 2004, about a month after Jeremy had disappeared. They were working on the house when they started to notice that money was washing up on shore. Like, this is an oceanfront home. About $30 total washed up over the course of several days, and then the ID. The couple had a bowl on their coffee table that was filled with just like treasures that had washed up from the tide, and they put the license and the money in that bowl.
Okay.
They kept these items assuming this was like a lost wallet in the ocean situation, and it wasn't until years later, after they had found this stuff, so now in 2008, that they recognized from the missing persons posts and stuff that the ID belonged to Jeremy, but it's not even them who recognized it right away. This is the crazy part of the story. Well, it's all crazy, but this is even wilder. So how they figured this out is super weird. So the husband of this couple passed away in 2008. And after the funeral, family friends went back to the house that they had built, where the fucking bowl is,
Yeah.
to gather and eat together. And one of the friends in attendance was a retired highway patrol officer. And he saw the driver's license in the bowl on the table and was like, y'all, this kid's been missing for, 4 or 5 years.
Holy fucking shit.
Like, why the fuck do you have this? And she was like, oh, this is our bowl of like weird shit that just washes up from the ocean.
Oh my God.
Which I completely believe that.
Oh,
it
like,
sounded so
that's-
sketchy at first, but as soon as you said they just keep a
Yeah.
bowl of weird shit
I
that washes
have
up.
They hadn't,
several
they
bowls
hadn't
like
even
that.
they hadn't even spent the cash. Like, they just put all the weird shit, like all
Yeah.
the treasures that wash up in the bowl.
That tracks.
They
for
have
me.
no connection to this case
Yeah.
whatsoever. They are not suspects. It's
Right.
just like the weirdest fucking thing.
Right. It's like how I used to collect shit that we
Yes.
found in the dirt in our yard because like my house used to be like a pharmacy in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Oh,
when I was growing
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was
So
always
everything
just like
was a
weird
treasure.
shit. Yeah.
Treasures.
So this retired cop calls this weird shit into the police and turns the items over. This home that they built too, where like this shit washed up, was nestled by the same woods that Jeremy had ran off into, which also included cliffs over the ocean.
Shit.
So is it possible that Jeremy like went over the cliffside while wandering through the woods?
Dashed
also
on the rocks
possible-
below.
It's also possible that he thought he was being tracked.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that there was a tracker in his wallet, and he threw the wallet
Ditched
over the
his
cliff.
stuff.
Or he
He
wanted
easily
to
could've
fake
ditched
his
it.
own death to get
Yeah.
away.
Right.
Yep.
But I feel like you'd leave more than that if you're trying to fake your own death, because that's the only stuff that's been found. No clothing, nothing.
Maybe he
I
did
think part
leave
of-
it and they just never found it.
Maybe. The ocean's unruly, man.
I could see him chucking his wallet into the ocean because he thought there was a tracker.
I could 1,000% see that. I could 1,000% see that. So despite a $20,000 reward for information on his whereabouts, his family is still left with many questions and no answers, and no Jeremy. So Ted Alex, Jeremy's father, is convinced that Jeremy got wrapped up in some bad business with drugs. Quote, my personal opinion is that Jeremy was the victim of foul play, he said. He got himself in over his head. I think that was the result. I understand where Ted's coming from here, but I feel like there'd be some evidence.
Yeah, or like Suzanne would say eventually, like he was
that she'd
dealing,
know something, yeah,
instead of just using, because like there's a huge difference.
Yeah, there really is. I don't know.
Unless she was afraid for her well-being, also.
Right.
True. It's totally possible. It's totally possible that things got out of hand, but I feel like that's just
that doesn't
unlikely.
Explain the behavior to the teachers.
Yep.
Unless
really
you take
doesn't.
what he said literally and it wasn't a delusion and he really was literally running from bad existing men.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which, like,
that's what I'm saying. If he's running from drug people or something.
But if he were actively running away and being chased, wouldn't anybody
I don't think
be
you'd
able
go in the woods.
Well, wouldn't anybody be able to witness the people chasing you? Like, there's no mention of anyone hot on his trail or going to his apartment after he took off or like anything.
I feel like it is a delusion.
Right.
I don't think they're real people chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
But if we are to believe that the person who these multiple witnesses saw several, like 4 months later, if that was also Jeremy, that timeline, that amount of time just makes no sense. Like if he was on drugs, it would have fucking worn off. If he had a break,
been the drugs. It would have had to be. It would have had to be
a psychological
some sort of
issue.
Psychological, event that was ongoing.
That's personally where I'm leaning, because maybe I'm just wishfully thinking, but like
so drastic.
I really
though.
want that sighting of Jeremy to be real, because then that would indicate that he could potentially be surviving somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
that's just so dramatic and drastic. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I also just don't think it's that crazy because he was living like a very nomadic lifestyle for a long time. Like, it's not unlike him to just kind of travel around in his van and kind of camp out. Obviously, he ditched his van, but if he's like experiencing,
he could have left the woods and just become unhoused somewhere else.
Barefoot bandit situation.
Sighting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he's experiencing some like serious psychosis.
Yeah.
And he, think of how we as a society treat the unhoused. Like if he's wandering around in dirty clothes.
Yeah. People aren't going to get near him.
People are literally like, get the fuck away from my house.
Right.
Like it would be easy for him to slip through the cracks, frankly, even with people looking for him. His appearance could be totally different. He could be super bearded and like disheveled.
He could look like the Burt's Bees guy.
He could. I don't know. I think it's possible.
Or
I really
he could
do.
have later, passed away in the woods after that last sighting, like when things started to get cold.
That's kind of what I think happened, and we'll get to it. But I do think that sighting was him. I do think that he was living off the grid in a state of psychotic distress. And I think, I unfortunately believe that he likely passed away. And I think that he likely went into the water. If he didn't chuck his wallet in there, that could explain how the ID and the money washed up. No wallet, but like, I mean, it's the fucking worst situation, but it just feels the most plausible to me.
Right.
So in regards to the large reward for information, sadly, it's brought in nothing more than rumors and theories and some assholes just trying to get that money. Ted said in an interview, quote, we've obviously had a lot of people ask about it with bad intentions. It's kind of the underbelly of things. We've dealt with each one. We need a body. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's a poor fucking family.
Yeah.
So message boards and internet sleuths have been analyzing this case, obviously, for years because it's super bizarre. Some wonder if the couple who found the ID could have been part of this, but most think they were just like kind of shitty for not turning that stuff into the police right away, but also like treasures you find washed up on a beach. You're not going to immediately be like, this could be a dead or missing person.
You find all kinds of stuff washed in
I'd
on the shore.
probably plop it in a bowl too and be like, oops, some dum-dum lost their wallet. Oops.
I probably would have Googled it, the name. But
yes, I think our Facebooked it. I probably would have done that.
It sounds like
hey,
the
I found
couple
your
were
stuff.
maybe elderly.
I think they were older.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
I think they're just taking beach walks in their old bone bodies.
Retirement.
And you're not under no obligation to report something like that.
I mean, people fucking go over the beaches all the time with metal detectors and just keep what they find.
Yeah.
Like, It's that
I feel
kind
like
of shit.
if the ID was current and not expired, I probably would turn it in.
And I don't know that
If you know, like it's like from Maine, if it was like from a completely different state, I probably wouldn't. But like if it was still current, I'd probably bring it to the police and drop it off.
Yeah.
Nothing else but an ID.
I've found 2 different driver's licenses just on the floor on the ground, and I've returned them both times.
You're so
good for
good.
Speaking from experience, but also if I were to wash up on the shore, that's like more exciting.
Yeah. And if it was
Yeah.
expired, then I would just put it in my curiosities bowl.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Put it in
sure.
the bowl. Put it in the
Yeah.
bowl. So yeah, they are not connected to Jeremy's
I don't think
disappearance.
so.
They're just not. Some believe he fell to his death in the ocean, and the tides and like ocean creatures have made the remains disappear.
Yeah.
But then things that are like less, likely to break down or easier to float up on shore, like a plastic ID or even like fucking monies made of like a weird fabric plastic
It's made
fiber.
out of like cotton.
Yeah, but it's like dipped. So I don't know. It can survive some shit. But other folks think there is more to it than this. One Redditor under the username Gil1994 wrote, quote, "So I learned about this case years ago and haven't been able to drop it since. I'm from Massachusetts, but my grandmother lived in Northport, Maine, and I spent a ton of time there when I was younger. I've been trying to do enough research on this case to start a podcast, don't do it, or write a piece on it. But honestly, there isn't much on the internet about it, or at least that I've seen at all." And that's true. There weren't like a ton of details. I just did a lot of my own sleuthing. Everyone wants to say that he was in a drugged or paranoid state and that he drowned or died in the woods. But everyone from Northport and Belfast is a small fishing town right next to Northport.
It's his hometown.
Knows that there was foul play involved. Everyone from Belfast knows that Cameron Philbrook, who is now dead, according to this person, but I actually think other people on this comment thread commented being like, no, he's still alive. So I don't know. Killed him. Everyone there knows there are police officers, including Belfast police chief, that helped cover this up. And when people say police cover up, it sounds like some crazy idea they have, but it really wasn't so crazy or implausible, and it did happen.
All right. Well, who the fuck is Cameron Philbrook?
Oh, we'll get to it. This goes on to say a comment below says something about people from there being stuck in their ways and that it's an insular area. It is. People don't want to talk. Everyone knows everyone. I've been to Belfast to ask around about the case, and it's almost like you get death stares, kind of intimidating. Belfast is a little fishing town with a shitload of drugs. It appears like an innocent Maine small town, but there is a lot of crime and drugs tied in with the fishing industry.
Okay.
This is just one person's opinion. I was just like Googling theories, and
You're
this is the shit
reading
that popped up.
a random stranger's comment on
Precisely.
a Reddit thread, which
Yep.
fair enough, but we're not
Yep.
journalists and you're
No.
literally just sharing what was on this Reddit
It's
thread.
a theory.
It's a theory. So obviously I had to look up who this Cameron Philbrook character is, and that brought me to this blog, which is really long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read a little bit from it. The blog is called Baking Brad Blog, Bob Loblaw's Law Blog, Baking Brad Blog. And once again, before I read this is a blog written by someone else who is also not a journalist. It's not written by me. I'm just reading it to discuss this theory. I have no clue if there's any validity to any of this.
Does it make any of it true or not
No,
true?
do not sue me, Cameron Philbrook, if you're alive, which maybe you're dead. I don't know. Okay? But your SEO is about to be off the charts, pal, because
I
here we
already
go.
Googled him.
Right? Okay, so according to this blog, quote, in 2004, I was an eyewitness to Belfast Police Chief Mike McFadden and my cousin, Deputy Merle Reed's, tampering with the evidence in the Jeremy Alex murder. I was an organizer for the search in the woods that Monday morning and appalled at the absence of police at the crime scene. I went angrily into the sheriff's office to demand their presence at the search where the hippies were going through Jeremy's van and billfold. They had, so I guess he did leave his wallet.
Okay,
But
but
he
he had
had, like,
cash in his hand
cash
when
in
he
hand.
was talking to that couple.
Yeah.
And maybe like his ID in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
They had his keys, and this was an unsecured crime scene. We know they had his cell phone and one set of keys because they called Jeremy's dad, Ted Alex, on Jeremy's phone and told him. On that Monday morning, April 26, 2004, the police knew they had a crime scene at Jeremy's van, but they had abandoned it. I sat through the big meeting where Sheriff Scott Story, his dad Wendell, Sheriff John Ford, the state police detectives, Mike McFadden, Merle Reed, and several others were present, probably giving like a press conference.
Yeah.
Several were hungover, and their somber mood told me that they already knew that Jeremy was dead and that they had a big problem on their hands. That's obviously a stretch, but whatever.
That's completely subjective.
Complete speculation from absolutely nothing. And I am not a police sympathizer. I am not going to sit here and be like, there's no way this was a police cover-up, because you know how I feel about that. But that one line, I'm like, okay, well.
Well, subjective.
Yeah. I was there when Mr. and Mrs. Ted Alex came in, and I've been trying to get justice for Jeremy ever since. There, Ted Alex said to me, you need to calm down, Brad. These people are just doing their jobs. I replied, no, they are not. My family was murdered in 1988 in Colorado. I am a member of Parents of Murdered Children, and these people if these people were doing their jobs, they'd be off their fat asses and securing the principal crime scene.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I mean, yeah, you need to secure the crime scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
If the police didn't already know the truth that Jeremy was dead and how he died, they would have been all over that van and arresting the hippies for theft for going through the shit. The truth is, Jeremy Alex was murdered by Merle Reed's brother-in-law in Steve McFadden's backyard. So I guess this Cameron Philbrook person is connected to the police because he's married to Merle Reed's sister, who is like a deputy. And the claim is that this guy, Cameron guy, killed Jeremy in the sheriff or whatever, like the higher up Steve McFadden's yard. And Merle Reed and Mike McFadden have done a very crappy job at covering it up. They would like nothing more than to see me dead. They shot a bullet under my bedroom window, which they refused to investigate. I mean, it could have just been a stray bullet from like anything. Even though the cameras at the market would have shown the shooter's car go by at that time, they told the market that they'd be arrested for tampering with an investigation if they gave me the footage. I believe the footage would have shown a police cruiser go by. During my own investigation, I was presented with 2 beautifully drawn maps to as many as 7 bodies behind serial killer Cameron Philbrook's backyard at number 19. I'm not going to read that. I know Ralph Flanders and the entire family. Merle Reed is my own first cousin.
All right, that's a lot to follow, and I did not follow all of it, but I did Google Cameron Philbrook, and on October 23rd, 2017, he was arrested for domestic violence assault.
Oh, but he's alive.
As of 2017.
All right. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I tend to think that poor Jeremy likely ended up in the ocean, but he is considered still missing. He has not been declared, at least as far as I could find. I think as of 2021, this case is still open. He is not declared dead. And if you know anything about this case or had spotted him or anything about Jeremy's whereabouts, please contact the Maine police investigating this case. The toll-free number is 1-800-452-4664.
Well, that case was fascinating.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
I'm going to be Googling all of these people and names the rest of the night.
Yep.
This
You're
type
welcome.
of unsolved mystery that's like, maybe
hate
there
it.
were sightings. Any reason why this would have happened is weird on its own.
Yeah. The whole thing is bizarre, that there's no trace, no remains, no clear evidence. I mean, yeah.
Such bizarre
like-
circumstances.
It's so sad. It's just so fucking sad.
Wow.
I don't know. It's wild.
And
But
after
yeah.
they found the ID, did they research the woods or no?
I think they've looked multiple times in that area and have just never come up with anything. So
Somebody
Yeah.
with some recently retired but still with it cadaver dogs needs to go walk around some woods around Belfast and
Northport or whatever.
Maine.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's 7 more.
Apparently at an address that I'm not going to read.
was it Bluebird Circle?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my
stage
case.
whisper.
Was it Bluebird Circle?
I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Anyway,
All right.
love it. Hate it and love
Maybe
it.
read
Love,
both
hate
of your
it.
phone numbers one more time
Yeah.
If people,
I
Penny,
thought you
go
meant
ahead.
my phone number, and I was like, I will not be doing that. No, this is not my
remember
phone
when you
number.
read your social security number when she was just asking for like your Twitter handle?
Yes. What are your socials?
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
475.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh my
6,
God.
7, 8, 9.
Okay. I didn't question it, though. I just was like, okay,
Handed it over.
Amanda needs my social.
So if any weird things pop up on your credit score, it was not me.
If you have any information about Ayla, please contact the Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit at 207-624-7143.
And if you have any information about Jeremy Alex, please call 1-800-452-4664.
And thank you to our fan picker, Lilius B. You definitely made us curious about the state of Maine.
Super don't want to go to Maine, but
Very
do wanna
scared
go to
about
Maine.
the woods. but
Definitely
I will,
wanna go
I
camping
will
in
attempt
Maine.
the lobster.
A lot of creatures.
I'm gonna walk down the beach, see what I can find.
Yeah, I'll stick
my
to the
God.
beach.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers.